Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. Today we're here with Jared from Mile High Muscle. So we've been talking for a while about doing this, right? Typical with a custom car, you got held up by a few things, but here you are. So you guys were just at LS Fest, and now you're here and we get to learn about your car.
I know, a long time coming.
It is, man. So this is how much I know about this car. I know it's a Chevelle. I know it's a 69. And I know it's got, which we'll talk more about, Speedtech. And you did say there's a little backstory to it.
Roughly 7 years ago, my now business partner bought the car off of eBay. Back home, I'm working at the Chevy dealer, and it breaks down in front of the dealer. And they just proposed, hey, we want you to take a look at this car and fix it. And I said, you sure about that? Yep. We pulled the car in, long story short, we opened up Pandora's box. It left the dealership, we started doing car shows. He saw what little bit of traction it was gaining, and he just said, hey, what about opening your own shop? And I said, dude, I can't do that. And he goes, I'm gonna help you. And later that year, we bought property, which is now 7 years ago. We've expanded, we've got 10,000 square feet. It's just been a really cool ride. So he goes, we're gonna go big. So we went big. And I told him, this is what you're gonna have to do. New chassis, new this, new that. We came across Speedtech.
Yeah.
They just said, hey, it's your lucky day. We have a customer that wasn't gonna fill this order. You got about 20 seconds, and I said, we'll take it.
Yeah.
They were so cool, treated us like family.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, here comes GM. Hey, we want to put our engine in your car.
I didn't know that's what happened. So that's how the 632 came into play.
So yes, we had a blueprint 632 in there. It was great. And then next thing you know, you're talking to GM going, okay, we finally got it. And then it was like, show us what you can do. So we did.
Well, let's pop the hood and let's look at this. Wow, that's just crazy, dude. God dang, man.
Yep.
No wonder the scoop is so big on the hood of this car.
It is.
You know, I've only seen this engine up close once before at SEMA when it was unveiled in the Hoonigan car, you know?
Right. You know, the overall height is just ridiculous with the cylinder head design, intake manifold design. But what's really cool is it is an oversized LS.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like an LS on steroids.
Yeah.
And it really has a LS style looking intake manifold.
Yeah.
But it's big. It's very big.
Yeah.
It is big.
So these start out, they're a sportsman block that this 572 used. They bore, stroke them. This is all bone stock from the factory.
Yep.
But the magic is all in the top end.
Yeah.
The spread port design, top end is what makes that motor, and nothing else on the planet.
And that's the one, isn't it a 1,000 horsepower crate motor, right?
2004.
Which is so stupid.
With a warranty.
Car's got a lot of pickup.
We've had it on the dyno. It's crazy. I mean, they'll tell you it turns 7,000 RPMs. It does. Hydraulic lifters, and you're going, oh my God, how are they gonna stay together? They do. The sound that this thing puts out at RPM is just...
Well, it's gotta be just, I mean, nasty.
It's
Because just
nasty.
hearing you just idling it into my shop here, it's like...
You could feel it right here.
I believe it.
And it
man.
just sounded like a pro stock.
Yeah. It's really cool. I like these inner fenders, how it shows the suspension.
We didn't do anything to modify them. Those are correct, but it shows some of the suspension from Speedtech.
Yep.
They're JRI coilovers. You can see a little bit of the sweet rack in there. I think they were really interested to see, okay, they're gonna put our chassis to the test. And the first thing they did, they looked at header clearance. They looked underneath. This car has almost a flat bottom. 3-inch oval tubing.
Just so clean and simple, and it's very old school looking.
It
it's
is.
not like a lot of the modern builds are everything fit and finish and metal pieces that cover everything. And I'm not knocking those, not in the
they're
slightest.
great.
I love the artistry of that stuff. But this looks like an old school muscle car to me.
That's what he wanted from day one. You know, he and I actually got in an argument. We laugh about it now. I wanted to go LS. I wanted this, I wanted that. He goes, no, I want an old school big block.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got overruled. Here we are today, and it's the best decision we ever made.
Yeah. It's really
It's opened
cool.
so many doors.
And what'd you do brake-wise on this car? You know I'm always interested in brakes.
So we run a Willwood Aero 6 front and rear. That's just like what you would get from Willwood to bolt onto your C6 Corvette.
Can stop on a dime. Think fast!
And then is it boosted?
So we run a Hydro Boost right now. When we get home, we are going to change it. We were talking with Speedtech about that, and They felt we really didn't need the hydro boost, so they told us what we could do for a manual to where we could still have all the braking power.
Yeah.
They were good with it. They just said, yeah, you don't need it. Do this and you'll be fine. So we're gonna make that change. But other than that, they went for a ride last week in the car.
The Speedtech folks?
The Speedtech folks, and we did a photo shoot with them. He goes, hey, crack it. I go up through the gears and I get in third gear and I just slightly roll into it. The noise that came out of this was like a pro stock. We get back to the shop, he's out. Next thing you know, the whole Speedtech group is out and they're just going, okay, how was it?
Yeah.
He's just going, dude, it's insane. It's addicting.
Yeah, that's great.
But
man.
it's, on the other hand too, it's very manageable.
That's what you were saying, was it was super drivable.
It's very drivable, but when you want to, unloose,
It's all there.
It's
ready
all
to
there.
go, yeah.
So, and
what do you go to transmission-wise on this?
So we run a Tremec TKO 600. We send it down to Anaheim Gear. They go in and beef everything up, high RPM synchros and whatnot.
Yep.
And we're right at 1,050 rated, maybe 1,100. It's to the max. And that was one question we had with GM, is obviously the Hoonigan car that came out. They used the Jericho. Well, we already had the transmission. We knew it would hold up. Yep. And they asked us that question and we told them, and they were like, okay. Okay, you've done your homework,
Yeah.
It works great.
What's rear end on the car?
We're running a Dutchman 9-inch, 35 spline axle, and we run a 430 gear.
Oh, geez. With all the torque that this, because what kind of torque does this make?
So it makes about 876 foot-pounds.
And you're running a 430 gear, so throw first gear away, right?
Throw first gear away. Second gear is, but what's cool is when you're cruising 60, 65 in fifth gear, you're only turning 2,150, 2,200.
I get it, yeah.
She's starting to wake up, but you're not lugging it, and you don't even have to drop a gear.
Yeah.
You're gone. It's like being shot out of a cannon.
Oh, I believe it with all that torque, man.
Yeah.
Let's walk around the side
Sure.
of the car and see. I was curious about what the wheels are.
So we're running a Shot Mod 5 EXL. They're built here in Southern California. They're 18-inch front and rear. We kept up kind of old school, a narrower front tire up front. So it's an 18x8 with a Nitto tires up front.
And what size tire are you?
So they are a 235, 40, 18, ZR18 to be exact. Aero 6, Willwood, big brakes.
Yeah.
Big 6-piston caliper brakes. So
and then what are you running on the back?
So the Mod 5 EXL from Shot, an 18x12, and then we run a 335, 30, 18 Nitto drag radial. So we have enough tread to be legal on the street, yet if we want to have some fun, we can warm them up. And we did put them to the test the other day. You can feel them wanting to break loose when you were engaging the afterburners. So
I wouldn't doubt it, dude. Did you guys is this in-house making your own hood?
Yes, so this is the same hood that's been on the car since he bought it. Due to the pandemic, sheet metal, everything, and we're like, well, we've already got a hood that fits the car. It was kind of challenging, with a new engine coming out, you couldn't get a whole lot of specs. And we went through legal team and they cooperated as much as they possibly could. But what it boiled down to is we had to put the motor in and then build a hood. It took, about 2 months to build a hood. It was like our third design.
Yeah.
And we finally just said, you know what? We can't run and hide. We've basically built a street legal pro stock car. So we tried to go with a pro stock hood scoop. So
no, and you got the look. You definitely got the look. What's the color, by the way? Curious.
So the color is PPG, Mediterranean blue. It was on Maseratis like 2003 or 2004. So it's a blue pearl.
And no other body mods to the car other than the hood.
So body-wise, sheet metal-wise, it's still a 69 Chevelle.
Yeah.
We did have to change the tunnel. Obviously for everything coming up for the ground clearance, it's killer. What's great about Speedtech with this particular body, they're very popular. So in their kit, they gave us all of the tunnel pieces. And it really makes life easy. There's really no guessing, which we could have done, but we said, you know what? We're gonna use all of your stuff, make it work. We did.
Yep.
Back to our hood, we tried to make a hood that looked like you could buy it out of a magazine. I mean, we had the screen done with a water jet, screwed in like you would. I mean, we made it look like you could buy it.
Super clean.
Really.
And which rear suspension is it from Speedtech?
So we run the torque arm. And when we talked to Blake there, I said, hey, it's a big block. How's it gonna handle it? And he said, you're not gonna know it's there. And he was 100% right. I mean, the guy is a hardcore drag racer, so.
Is there anything in the trunk? Is it?
There is. We finished the trunk. I want to point out one thing, and maybe you can catch it. So when you look at the back of this car, it looks very factory looking.
Yep.
I mean, very factory looking.
It does.
But where do you get those?
Right, I just noticed that,
So-
the 632.
So in-house, we 3D printed those.
Oh,
we made
really?
Them, we made them look just
And
like.
they look a little weathered, and that's great, man.
We made it look like, okay, it had a possibility of being built like that.
Yeah. How about the fitment of the bumpers? Are those cut and tucked at
No,
all?
that
or
is all.
the
That's
fitment?
all factory.
Really?
This is all how.
All factory. Really
all factory.
cool, man.
Nice fitment. And then when we open up here, everybody comes around to the back end too.
Oh yeah, super clean.
Super
man.
clean.
Yep.
We never get to use the stereos, but you know, we open this up right here, and that's where we can jump it if we've ever need to charge it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
the
it's battery
battery's
relocated
right,
back
yep.
here. Uh huh.
And
Super clean, simple panel for the audio.
Yeah, everyone loves it. They're like, "Wow, you guys really did all of it." And
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I mean, why
Yeah,
not?
yeah. Does exhaust come all the way back and dump?
Just by the rear tire, you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Right there by the gas
Yep,
tank.
Yep.
And it's really cool. I mean, it sounds good. Like I said, 3-inch.
Yeah.
And then we have electric cutouts, so if we want to, you know, disturb the teeth, we can.
Was that a fuel cell I see under there, or is it?
So that is the tank that was designed to go on the Speedtech chassis from Rick's Tanks in Texas.
Got it.
I was gonna keep this top secret, but yeah, fuck it.
So anybody knows Rick's, they know the quality product
Sure.
those guys put out. And just so everybody knows, to fuel one of these things, you got to have 2 fuel pumps. We use a Warbro 525 fuel pump times 2, and each one of those will power a stock Hellcat. That's what it takes to get that
To
power.
get the fuel moving.
Right, because we're naturally
Crazy.
aspirated, so
Yeah.
we don't have any forced induction. So
Yeah.
those guys at Rick's are great. I mean,
Yeah.
we're on a first name basis with them.
That's
They're
great. Yeah, I've never met them, but I've heard obviously the
Yep.
name is a pretty consistent name. So in here you've chosen to, it's interesting. There's a lot of fairly stock elements in here.
Yeah.
I mean, the dash, the door panels, even the seats.
You know,
I
that's
love
what
that
you-
you put a harness bar on here though and added harnesses. I think that's a smart
You
safety
just-
precaution.
That kind of power, you can't, you know, you never know.
Nah. Can I
it
put the
gives-
key in and light it up just
Sure.
to see? I'm
Sure.
just curious to see what the gauges and stuff.
Sure.
What are those gauges?
Those are the Autometer Thunder Road series.
These look great.
They're great. Daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. They're just perfect.
And what are the buttons here?
So that controls our cutouts. So when we want to disturb the piece, we just open them on the left and then close them on the right.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
I'd say when you want to disturb the piece even more because
Yeah. Yeah.
let's be honest, dude, this car ain't showing up quietly anywhere. Yeah. Oh, the cutouts aren't open. It's really not loud. Yeah, it is. Super slick, man.
Yeah,
This is
we get a lot of compliments on that because people wondered, you know, is it gutted? Is it this? Is it that? And we're like, oh, it's pretty stock-ish.
I've said this a few times recently because we've shot a good handful of cars recently that are like this, which I think is kind of the definition of resto mod, right? There's obviously fully restored, crazy modified, but there's a lot of elements that you still know what you're looking at, especially how many times have you gotten in an interior of a car that's a crazy Gabe's interior or some of the other companies that do those really over the top interiors? Beautiful, but you're sitting in the car going, wait, what are we in again?
Yeah, yeah.
69 Camaro, or is it a 2014 AMG car? I mean,
And those are great, but
beautiful.
But people, they really gravitate towards this. I mean, we let
Yeah.
people just like yourself get in, sit down, buckle up. We've let
Yeah.
them start it, and you see them just light up, and then they start telling you the stories.
Yeah,
The
well,
stories are what is just makes it all fun.
Yeah, yeah. And is this a shift light?
That is a shift light it's from Holley. It's their sniper shift light.
Okay.
So we have it programmed, so it'll come on all the time because it revs so fast, but it's just insane.
It's so wild to me, a 632-inch motor that revs fast and that it revs to 7,000 RPMs. I mean, that's
With hydraulic lifters.
crazy, dude. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, it's GM did their homework. I mean, when we got ours, you know, we kind of played with it to try to get a little bit more power out of it. And when this motor came out, I just start immediately going, okay, how good am I compared to GM? And I start looking, well, camshaft specs were okay on, but we're still old school distributor, and that's where they blew us out of the water because
Yeah.
they have, you know, near plug coil technology, all of that. And I'm going, well, we're going to be a major upgrade if we
I
get
mean, I
one.
hate to say it, but you're probably not going to beat a GM engineer, you know,
No,
or a team
no.
of GM engineers. You're just not.
But you know what? We got their attention, and that was what was
That's
cool.
awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
I
That's
mean,
great, man. Well, if there's not much more, you know, maybe we can, you know, let's go for a drive.
All right, sounds good.
Let's go for a drive. It's really interesting. I've only been in a couple cars that have like a big exposed blower or now this big scoop. I mean, obviously it's a functional scoop, right? You had to do something to deal with this massive intake and air cleaner.
Yes, sir.
But it's not that bad.
No,
I mean,
it's
it hinders
not.
your view a little bit, but
It's not bad. I mean, first design was way up where the mirror is. Wow, that's nothing.
yeah, I mean, the sound of this thing is just nasty, and I can't believe this is with the cutouts closed, dude. It's. But I see what you mean from. I mean, obviously, I'm sitting in the passenger seat. It's not lunging. It's not. It's, you know, like I'm sure it's ready to go, but the car seems super drivable.
It's very drivable. I mean, I'm basically on the primaries right now. The way they've got the linkage set up, you just cruise around like this.
So the little bit we've moved so far, you can already tell radical adjustment on the platform versus a stock 69. Even if you had done like a coilover setup, it's you can feel it right away driving down the road this car.
You do. It's the perfect foundation for anything, especially for what we did here. I mean,
Yeah.
They asked us, "What are you doing?" We told them. They said, "Well, torque arm will handle that, no problem." And
Yeah.
they were right. I mean, it's just insane.
I bet you either get a lot of thumbs ups with this car, and then every once in a while you probably see a Karen and they're going like this, plugging
Oh
their
yeah.
ears.
Oh yeah. 98% thumbs up, 2%
I believe
Karen.
it. I totally believe it. So how long from the time you started this version of this car, how long was the total time?
About 2 years.
Gotcha. Holy cow, dude. Alright, you just got the first oh shit face out of me. Wow! Just curious, how much throttle input would you say? Half pedal?
Not quite.
Not quite half pedal.
Yep.
And it just broke loose.
Just broke loose. I mean, you can feel the tires break loose, but she was straight as an arrow.
It felt dead nut straight. It really doesn't, it didn't kick at all.
No.
So that's what the torque arm is designed
Yeah,
to do, right? Is
exactly.
keep it pointed straight. So torque arm is more for straight line performance. I mean, I know it can turn, but it's more designed for straight line, right?
Yep. When we hit him up with this project, Blake said, you know, that torque arm, it'll handle that big block well. You're not even
Right.
gonna know you have a big block. And you know,
And
this-
obviously, if you're doing big block, this type of setup, you didn't build this car to be an autocross or a road course car. Like thumbs ups over here. I mean, you built this really to go cruise it every once in a while, dig in and launch it on a straight
yeah.
line.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense. I know I said it during the interview, but I really like how much of this, it's Chevelle.
it's Chevelle.
Like, yes, gauges have been changed in the stock positions, but like these seats, I mean, you feel like you're in old Chevelle, but then we got this for us,
Yeah.
you know, which is, I gotta say, it's just a nice added piece, you know?
It is, and that's really what made this car what it is today.
Hey, you did a hell of a job on this car, man. You gotta be proud of your company. You got me sitting over here in total anticipation, like, oh shit, he's gonna hit it. Oh shit, he's gonna hit it. It's shocking how smooth it is.
Very smooth.
I mean, a lot of times I expect a car that's a full chassis, new suspension. I expect it to be a little stiffer and a little bouncier, you know? It's really not.
You know, like I said earlier, taking those guys for a ride in this car, that was going to tell us where we had the car set up at.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to be honest with you, right out of the box, we haven't touched it. They got in it, they're like, she's dialed in. I'm like, okay, cool.
That easy, huh?
So when you got the manufacturer saying, you're good to go, it's a good feeling. We're third gear. We got, with that gear we're running, we can pretty much do whatever we want right now.
You're armed and ready here. You're what, at $3,000?
Right at $3,000.
There's so much there, man.
That was about 50% in third gear.
Yeah. By the way, you guys, I want you all to understand here, we're doing some mild driving in this car because it's got less than 200 miles. It's still fresh build. So we're going to lightly get on it to give you a sense.
Wrong.
I mean, it is a friggin' monster of a car, dude.
It really is. There was an article just put out from the block from GM, and they called it a monster Chevelle.
Yeah, seriously. So far, you're happy with how it's going.
Yep.
In the initial drive stages of this car.
Yep. Learning something new every day.
Yeah.
That's like 10% throttle.
I mean, even in fourth gear at 3,000 RPMs, you can feel this thing's just ready to launch.
I know.
What an animal,
insane, man.
Seriously. So just so you guys know, you're about to hear startup with the cutouts closed. Then we're going to go full obnoxious mode and open up those cutouts for these flyby shots. So let's see what we got. There's cutouts open, holy cow. Oh my God, boy, you really feel it rumble underneath the seat. We were spinning tire at all. This thing just tracks dead nuts straight.
Dead nuts straight, man. Well, that's the guys at Speedtech, man. Normally, you know, you're hunched over like this, you're this, or you're this.
Well, and it's like you get a lot of the sideways kicking that happens. And that's another one of those things, personal opinion. Now you can go have fun in this and know that you're doing it, picking your time and place, obviously, but that you're able to do it semi-safe.
Right, exactly.
I felt it spin that time. I was paying a bit more attention to it, but I felt it also track super straight.
Same thing?
Yep. You enjoying getting to feel what your build feels like?
Yeah, it's fun, especially, you know, out here.
I'm glad we got a nice, cool, comfortable.
You know what's cool? 150 degrees.
That's all you're running right now. Wow.
Good radiator. I didn't give those guys any love. I'll give them some love. Ron Davis Radiators out of Arizona.
What's the company called?
Ron Davis Racing.
God, yep. I've heard that name a lot.
That's who we use.
back at the shop, guys. We'll just keep going back to the shop. Holy shit, dude. I love it too. By the way, you guys, I love that I preface this drive with that it's a fresh build. We're not going to get on it at all because Jared doesn't want to break anything. And what do? You get on it a little bit. Well, you got to test it out, right?
We got good equipment.
Holy shit, dude. I gotta admit, I really wasn't expecting you to take off like that, man. Kitchen car. You guys, look up. We're gonna get these guys going on social media. These are some okey dokes from Colorado. Look for Mile High Muscle. They're in Colorado. Well, that was an absolute beast of a build. I mean, there is no doubt that that thing really does make 1,000 horsepower, and you just gotta love that it's got a 2-year warranty on it. I mean, what a total bruiser. And you know, I know we mentioned Speedtech a couple times in this video, but there's no question that stuff is just proven. The Speedtech Performance chassis and suspension components are truly amazing. Really a beautiful, beautiful build. I'm so stoked we got to shoot with these guys, and I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, you guys, later.